The Joe Finnegan Show.
Hey, Nado, it's Ray.
On Shannonside, Northern Sound.
Welcome back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're in big trouble. I understand yesterday's bingo numbers were played, and I'm told today's bingo numbers will be coming your way in the next hour. So stay tuned for that. Joe, thanks to Paddy Ryan for all he does for us on a Sunday night. Paddy, will you settle an argument? Because we've been talking about this non-stop over the last week. Is it the heather breeze or the heathery breeze?
Leave out the Y.
Leave out the Y. So it's the heather breeze.
Exactly, yeah.
Where did you get the name from? Is it a title of a well-known...
It's the name of a tune.
Name of a tune, right.
The programme starts off with the tune.
Yeah.
The recording of the tune.
Yes. Yeah, I think
it's the introduction, if you like.
Yeah. I think we played it there earlier. Which one is it? I hope... I think it's... I'll play it later on. It's a well-known tune.
It's the start of the... Well, it's not the start of the program. It's not the first item. It's an introduction.
Yes.
The introduction.
It is, yeah. It is. And it's been there since day one.
Oh, it's been there since several days before that. It's probably there for years before that.
Tell me this. Oh, we do have it. Here. We can take a quick listen to it. Here we go. It's sort of synonymous now, isn't it? People will. It's instantly recognisable. You see that man there, Seamus Donoghue, and his dad Joe. I know, and this is where the Céilí Band aspect comes into it. A great friend. And I always tell the story. Joe, I would have known from my childhood. I regularly visited a village outside Tulse called Comog. And Joe lived, you can put that microphone up to your mouth there, Seamus. And Joe lived, of course, in Clooney Quinn. And there's still a strong representation, I know, of Donoghues in that part of the world. And you and him worked very closely together in the Céilí Band. And, of course, Johnny and Carlos is there as well.
Even outside of the band, we were still pretty close together.
Yeah.
Do you remember, Paddy, when Joe demolished your fiddle over in, where was it, in Ballyconneely, right?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
I do.
The light was very bad, Joe, outside the hall where we
This
were
is
playing
John Carlos, by the way. Go ahead,
the
John.
light was very bad outside the hall where we were playing at this Céilí. And Joe was backing back the car, and some of the gear was left on the street. Yeah. And all you could hear was bing, bing, Paddy's fiddle in the
Paddy Ryan without a fiddle. My God.
I don't know how you managed to finish the Céilí, Paddy, but you got the loan of a fiddle off somebody on the night.
Yeah.
But your fiddle wasn't playable ever after that.
I can't remember who had the fiddle now, but
I think it was
Ballyconneely.
It was on a St. Stephen's night, I think.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah. And Paddy, the Céilí Band, tell me about the history of that. How did that all... Because you're a founder member, aren't you?
1957.
And Kevin, you can get Jimmy McGreevy up on the line for me there as well, because Jimmy wants to get in on this conversation. So tell me about the background to the band. I mean, how and why was it formed?
Well, take the musicians, you know, in the locality and even further afield. There used to be a lot of music sessions, informal music sessions, and someone got the idea that we should have a Céilí Band in the area, and it grew from that until the band turned out and was on the road for years and years. And of course there was changes in people as the years went on. See, that happens in every band.
Of course, yeah. So it was formed in what year, Paddy?
57.
57. And the original lineup, yourself?
Yeah, and Joe Donoghue, of course. There was an accordion player called Paddy Kearney.
Right.
And a fiddle player called Martin Lavin. And Tom McHale was a flute, or Michael McHale was a flute player from Tulsk.
Right.
John was the drummer, wasn't he?
That's what Tommy Burden was, the drummer, yeah. And
John Joe Kearney was a flute player, wasn't he?
John Joe Kearney, he was, yeah.
Right.
He was.
Yeah.
And, you know, over the years there was a few changes in
personnel.
You know.
Yeah, that's not unusual for any band, as the saying goes.
Yeah.
And Seamus, you know, your dad, Thank you, by the way, first of all, because you have played an integral part in putting all of this together. You've been working with me from day one. Your dad was great friends with this man.
He was. He always spoke very highly of Paddy. And, you know, apart from music, they were great friends. And, you know, my father, Lord rest him, often says Paddy Ryan is a bit of a genius.
A bit of a one.
Joe Donoghue, he was doing 2 jobs on the band. As well as music, he used to sing. At a Céilí, there'd be waltzes and there'd be songniers for the waltzes, or there'd be singers.
Yeah.
So Joe Donoghue used to handle that as well as playing the music itself.
Yeah.
Well, he used to say, he says he could take a fiddle apart and put it back together, or he could take the engine out of a car and put in a different one and drive it down the road.
Paddy, do you remember when
This is John
put the raffle tickets in John Joe Carney when he was playing the flute before he started playing? And John Joe attempted. You would have known John Joe Carney, Joe, would you, from Carolina? But he attempted to play this flute and it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And someone said, "What is wrong?" After Tommy having us stuffed with raffle tickets. He said, "Geez, you'd want to definitely store them to blow this yoke."
Jimmy McGreevy is with us.
Yes.
Jimmy, how are you?
Hello. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you so much for joining us. I know once upon a time a member of the Céilí Band, and we spoke last night, and again you've nothing but respect for this man, Jimmy.
Well, I have to say I thank you for the opportunity of saying it. Myself and Paddy Ryan go back many, many, many years. We'll say, should I say, certainly 60 odd, maybe 70 years. And I was just thinking, I met him first in McHale's house in Tusk, the house of Tom McHale and Michael McHale, and a great house for music. And it was beside the Rockland Affairma Hall in Tusk, where they used to have sessions there, Paddy. So I'm delighted to have this opportunity to wish Paddy well. Paddy is there, is he?
He's listening to you, Jimmy, as we speak.
He's listening to me. I'm telling lies about him. I'm not actually telling the lies. Paddy Fallon, I was going to say. He knows Paddy too. But Paddy Ryan was a great man, a great teacher, a great friend of mine. And I met him first, as I said, in McHale's in about, I would say, 1950. 57, 58, maybe.
Don't be giving it away. Don't be giving it away. But look, you got your word in, and I'm delighted that you could join us on this morning, Jimmy, on the show this morning. There's so many people who want to get in. Do you know? Thank you, Jimmy, for being with us, Paddy. Just in relation to your own career in music, so it was the tin whistle initially, and then you moved on to the fiddle, and then really it was the fiddle. From a musical point of view, was your forte, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was 11 years of age when I started on the fiddle. A couple of years before that, I used to use the whistle, but the whistle faded out when the fiddle got going. I see, there was fiddlers in the family. My grandfather was a fiddle player. My uncle was a fiddle player. That's on my mother's side.
Yeah.
So I suppose I could hardly lose it then.
Yeah, and we heard you. We played a clip of you playing the fiddle. Mossy was kind enough. The Fields of is it the Fields of Rockcrohan?
The Rathcrohan.
The Rathcrohan Reel, right. And that's not too far away from home, you being a Balnagar man.
No, it's only a couple of miles up the road.
Right. And you see, I'm learning all the time, Paddy. They tell me here that your style is very much the Connacht style. How do you feel about that?
Oh, that'd be natural enough, because you know there's styles. Every area where the music is going has styles. You have the Sligo style, you have the Mayo style, and Leitrim style, and you can break it down into smaller areas, like, you know, because you'd have different people would maybe have a difference in the style.
Right.
They still have the basic style, but it'd be a difference there. Like, you know?
Okay.
So. And one of the prominent styles in the music was the Clare style, for instance. There's loads of the music in Clare. And You know, it's the same as, you know, accents in talking.
Yeah.
You know, there's different accents in different parts.
Yeah.
And different style of talking as well. The music is kind of the same way, like there's differences everywhere.
He's warmed up, hasn't he? He's mad for action now. He's mad for action, so yes. Do you know what we're going to do? Because we got a request in earlier. And on this show, I always make the point that it's the listeners who set the agenda. And a lot of people so thrilled to be listening and want to be associated with this wonderful, if I don't mind, I will say it. Why not? They're referring to it as a wonderful program, so we will read out what's coming in. For example, Ambrose and Bridie McDermott from Killashee in County Longford. They want to say, Joe, we never miss Paddy's show on a Sunday night. Congratulations, Paddy, and thanks for so many hours of wonderful listening down through the years. And then we got a lovely call in from a listener in Cavan, I have it here, who is requesting, Paddy, we have christened this wonderful bunch that's around you this morning. We've christened them the Paddy Ryan Céilí Band. And Lord bless us and save us, they're talking about recording contracts and all sorts of things now at this moment. But anyway, I was going to say, so they're requesting here the Harvest Home and the Boys of Blue Hill. And because we have wonderful musicians with us, they say, yes, we can do that. So ladies and gentlemen, on our special show this morning, where we're honouring the great Paddy Ryan, we have the Paddy Ryan Céilí Band with Harvest Home and the Boys of Blue Hill. Off you go, guys.
1, 2.
Wonderful, lovely stuff. The Paddy Ryan Céilí Band. And so many people calling in here. Joe, Paddy Ryan attended, Paddy will remember this, the annual Mullahoran Apostolic Traditional Irish Concert in Mullahoran Hall. This is in County Cavan now. It raised money for the foreign missions, and Paddy Ryan was there at every concert, recording in his own quiet way at the side of the stage. It brings back great memories. The hall would be packed with musicians. Most of them would have been prize winners down through the years. Paddy was part of the furniture of the concert. And then the following week, he would play the recordings on Shannonside Northern Sound. Great memories of Mullahoran, Paddy.
Oh, yeah. These great memories of that concert too. It was always a great night. Tony Smith was the man responsible for organising that. Another great fiddle player.
Yeah.
He's a Cavan man.
Yeah.
He's living in County Meath now. He was the I suppose the brains behind the whole concert.
Yeah.
And the money was the money that was taken in was for charity anyway.
Right. Because again, for the show, Paddy, you went all over the place and recorded some marvellous material. And I mean, how comfortable are you with, you know, many people have said to me, Paddy is a historian. I mean, his knowledge is vast, a fountain of knowledge when it comes to not only the music, but the history of the music. I take it that's something you enjoy doing, researching the music.
Yeah, well, a lot of it came to me without research. It just happened to come from other people. Like, I was always picking up something about the music. You know, no matter where I was or who I was involved with.
Yeah.
There was always something coming that I would have taken on with.
Yeah.
That was how the knowledge built up.
Yeah. And you had it from America, but of course there is that intrinsic link, isn't there, between the traditional Irish music and America and the recording of the music that occurred in the States. I know from listening to your show, you always make that link that many of the early recordings were made stateside.
Well, that's true, yeah. The musicians who immigrated from here to America, and there's a couple of great examples there, like Michael Coleman and James Morrison from County Sligo. Paddy Killoran was another. 3 great fiddlers, and they were huge names in America.
Right.
And they all made recordings, back in the 1920s and 30s.
Yeah.
When that was a very rare thing to be doing.
I know.
But they're still on top of the list as far as favourite musicians are concerned. And everybody knows about Coleman and Morrison now. And they have a place there in Gurcheen.
They have, and that's why we have John Dwyer. If you could just move 1 second, John Carlos, and we bring in John Dwyer, because come on in there, because you're the
that's the man that's involved with the
that's it. You're our Michael Coleman representative, because I know you have a very important role in relation to curating the centre down there,
yes,
John.
I'm responsible for all the acts and the bands that come into the different concerts.
Good man. What about this man then?
Well, my experience of Paddy goes back a long time as well. Many years ago, Paddy used to cross the border and teach in Sligo as well. So he had a weekly class in Gurcheen in the Tech, and I was one of his students there. And so then got older, used to meet Paddy at the sessions, and now I'm working in the Coleman Centre, and Paddy comes to all the gigs we have there. So I have great memories of Paddy as well down the years. So long may it continue, Paddy.
No. There you go. We have. He said it should last for another while. Patsy Hanley, come in, Patsy. If you could just move there. Patsy, thank you so much for being with us. It'll mean a lot, I know, to Paddy. And a bit like the rest of our guests, you soldiered for many years with this man.
I did, on several different things that were taking place. The first time I seen Paddy Ryan was, he was playing at the Shannonside Céilí Band somewhere, and it was on the way here I was trying to remember where, but I can't. And I knew only a couple of people on the band at the time. And then there was a time that Coltis had a program called Session, and Paddy was on that group as well, and he was you couldn't get a better man to work along with, because he knew all the facts about the tunes, and he knew which tunes fitted best together, and he also had great patience. Because we'd often test him a bit.
I was going to say, you were known for testing him every now and then. What's this about coming up for a name for a television show that you were doing a few years back? And this thing about, I think at the time through your work, you were involved with piggeries or that kind of thing.
I was working for Roscommon
County Council,
at the time, but I was doing the piggeries at weekends. And my job would be to lay out the layout and the groundworks and the levels and that sort of stuff.
And you were doing a TV show.
I'd be doing it on a Saturday and a Sunday, but in order to do the job properly, I had to read all about piggeries.
Right.
And I had this. It wasn't I think the book that I was reading about piggeries, it wasn't an Irish one, it was English, I think. And well, every second page there was a mention of swine fever. No, Paddy,
You had swine fever in the head, in other words, so go on.
And Paddy, I think, had it was foot and mouth. I think that caused Paddy to live in Birmingham.
To the bad dose anyway. Foot in mouth.
I often be foot in. But anyway, we were doing a television program, and we had to do an audition for that time. Just can't walk into a television program at them days. And it was done in the Royal Hotel in Boyle. And there was a man that had no patience to write down. He couldn't pronounce our names or spell them or anything. And I was trying to sort them out, And I won't tell you his name now in case.
No, don't mention his name. But go on anyway.
She did.
Anyway, he wasn't a drinker, I think, but there was something else going on.
Definitely don't mention his name.
And, he said, "Damn it, have you not got a name for the band?" And I said, "Swine fever." And as soon as I had it said, I forgot about it.
And then the introduction.
Yeah, the introduction came. It was Josie Begley from Kerry. And she was introducing, and she said, "Now we have a band from Roscommon called Swine Fever." So the only one that spoke up was Paddy. He said, "Where did you get that name?"
Oh, Lord. Right, we're having great fun. And thank you, by the way, for all your messages that are coming in. And I don't know if I'm going to get through all of them this morning on the show, but those that I don't get through today, we'll manage them tomorrow. We're going to line up another performance and so much more to come. So do stay with us. We're back after these.